everybody? It's a rainy, cold, nasty Wednesday here in Durham, North Carolina. Trying something a little bit new today. I guess you guys can see that there's another camera angle here, and you guys on Facebook probably noticed that. Wow, that looks a whole lot like Instagram. It is. So we're doing a simulcast today on our Instagram page. We're going to be talking about Glasser violins. And those of you watching on Facebook will be able to see both screens. You'll be able to see the Instagram screen and the Facebook screen. And just thought that would be fun for everybody. It'd be fun. It'll be a lot of chuckles, right? Chuckles and a hoot. If you notice, I got the quarantine beard thing going again. I'm not growing this because I think it looks good. I've been doing some landscaping in my house, and for the second time in a month, I've gotten into some poison ivy. And I'm a little eat up right now. So, that was very nice. Apparently, I need to figure out which one of those plants, the ones with the 3 leaves on it. Anyway, so we're going to be doing Glasser violins today. I did want to show you guys on the Facebook side, we have a sale going on our website right now. So if you go there, you're not going to see it on the prices on the website. It's one of those things that when you add it to the cart, it puts the discount in. So if you see something that's $1,002, when you put it in your cart, it'll automatically apply that $75 discount. Peow! How do you like that? All right. So a lot of you guys know the Glasser violins, love Glasser violins. Full disclosure, I am a Glasser artist. Got an endorsement from Glasser violins. But it's not because it was like, hey, I want some free stuff and would you send it to me? It was that I had played these instruments and had actually consulted in the development process a little bit. And Andrew was gracious enough to add me to the artist roster, sort of as an appreciation for the work that I did on development. So it wasn't like, hey, yes, I love some of your stuff. It was, hey, these are really, really good violins, and I'm honored to help develop these. And he was nice enough to add me to the roster. So what do I have? I have 2 of the AE models, 2 of the 5-string AE models. One I converted to an octave violin, and I do a ton of recording with that. And then I also just got one of the new violas, a new 15-inch 5-string viola, currently strung with a high E, but I may switch that to a low F just because. All right, so let's talk about the 2 different levels. There's the AEX level, which is the lower of the 2 levels. It's easily distinguishable because it's got these bright, vibrant, beautiful colors. They're really, really pretty violins. Here's a white one. Here's a green one. Green one. There we go. There's the green one. We've got a pink one up here. Here's a pink one. Trying to find, the cameras. Yeah, there's white and pink next to each other so you guys can see. These are really, really nice violins. What you'll sort of find the difference between the AEX and the AE. Here's the prices that you can see. They're really, really reasonably priced. Some of the features on here is 4-string and the 5-string price. Again, $720 and $780 for the Instagram people that can't see my graphic on the screen. There is a new model in 2020. There's been a lot of discussion online about difference between the pre-2020 and the 2020. We'll get to all that. But one of the biggest things that you'll notice is that the 2020 models have a carbon fiber bridge. So you can see that black bridge on there, pretty obvious. These are vegan instruments. There's no hide glue in here. And in fact, Glasser bows, I'll be using Glasser bow today as well while I'm playing. Glasser bows are fiberglass carbon fiber or carbon composite, depending on the level of bow that you get. This one has actual horsehair, but you can get them with synthetic hair on them. So if you want a totally vegan setup with no animal products in it at all, the violin and the bow can both be vegan, okay? They are active. All the electronics are in the chin rest. The nice thing about having an active instrument is that you can have a treble and a bass boost and cut. If it's passive, you can't do boosting, you can only do attenuation. So it's a true active, and we will demonstrate all that stuff. So you've got treble and bass here, volume here. They have perfection pegs. At this price point, it's $720 for a 4-string. Perfection pegs, are you kidding me? That's insane. And they come with Larson strings, outstanding strings on these instruments. What's up, Stephen May? I see you out there. The Larson strings on these, Stephen, maybe you can remind me which Larson strings are on here. But one of the things that is sort of a conventional wisdom when you buy a lower priced instrument, and these instruments are under $1,000. One of the things that you'll hear a lot on the internet, because the internet knows everything, says the guy on the internet. One of the things that you'll hear from people is, oh, you're going to buy an inexpensive violin. The first thing you want to do is put good strings on it. And in most cases, that's true. When you buy a cheap violin, if you're buying one of these things off of eBay and it's a price that's too good to be true, which means it's too good to be true, they'll generally come with like these little pieces of chicken wire strung on there. And they're not worth the wire they're made out of. Just cut those things off and throw them in the trash, and put decent strings on there. However, these instruments, at like $700, they have outstanding strings, Larson Originals. Thank you, Stephen. So yeah, Larson Original strings are fantastic strings. Like we had somebody ask the other day, well, my teacher told me when I buy a violin, I want to put, good strings on it. Well, there you go. They're already on there. Yeah, Vincent, fan of the violin for sure. Jeremy's got one. That's right. You just got it. And in fact, yeah, the pre-2020 models came with a Helicore C. The 2020 models come with a Larson C on there as well, which is great. So it's a full 5-string Larson set. Everything works great. There's some big dogs out here playing these things. Jeremy's one. Brian King Joseph from America's Got Talent has one. Ernesto Lago's got one. Jesus Florido's got one. Drew Ford has a viola. That viola kid, he's got one. Who else is rocking these things? Like everybody. Lars Thorson, who plays with Kane Brown, he's got one. Ross Holmes, who plays with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, he's got one. There's just so many fantastic players with these instruments. These things are D Sharp. Yep, D Sharp's got one. Huge YouTube star. Yeah. And I'm sure more names are going to pop into my head. But yeah, everybody's got these violins. They're really, really great violins. And they feel fantastic. The necks are amazing on these things. They sound great. They feel great. Let's just go ahead and play this one. Let's go to my next little slide here. So I don't have to... there we go. Shrink that down there. What you guys are hearing, there's a microphone right in front of here, and you're hearing the acoustic sound of the instrument, and I'm running through a Fishman Loudbox Artist, and so if you're hearing some reverb, just listen. Hear that reverb? That's actually coming from the amp. So you're hearing a blended sound of the direct sound of the instrument and the microphone in the room. I'm going to go ahead and turn the microphone off. Here it goes. It goes away. Microphone is back on. Can you guys hear me now? Woo! Okay, so you got to hear a little bit of the direct sound. The Instagram folks, sorry, you're just stuck with what's in the room here. But the guys on Facebook, you're able to hear, you could just hear the direct sound of the instrument. We'll sort of keep it blended now so you can hear me talking, because Lord knows that's important. So yeah, the instrument. Yeah, Ernesto Lagos here. Yeah, it is a really nice sound of violin. Ernesto, we're going to have you chopping in no time, man. He is if you guys don't follow Ernesto Lago, you really should. And then there's also an account called the Electric String Lovers, I think, is another fantastic Instagram account. You should definitely follow that. Show lots of love to all the electric string players out there. Yeah, Ernesto just did a video where he did sort of a demonstration of his new Glasser violin. And yeah, it's a fantastic video. I did a cameo in there. He's doing a bunch of different styles of playing, and he asked me if I would do some chopping in there. So yeah, follow Ernesto. He puts out amazing video content. This guy's a fantastic videographer and a player, and just, he's a good dude. Yeah, so let's talk about the treble and the bass. Here we go. It's hard to find this thing while I'm looking in a not mirror. Okay, let's go all the way one way with this. It's a 4-string. I reached for the C and it wasn't there. Sorry. Let's go all the way the other way with it. That's right, Electric String Lovers. There it is. So yeah, that's treble all the way down, then all the way up. Let's do bass all the way down. I don't know why you'd ever turn the bass down. I guess if you're brain damaged or something. I will crank that bass. Boom. So there you are. You're looking for a violin that you can do both electric and acoustic. Look no further, my man. It's right here. The AEX for $720 or $780. That's an insanely good price. We do have a couple of the yeah, it was like the 1920s. We have some of the pre-2020 instruments, like a couple of them left. They're at a discount. I'm actually going to grab one. Hold that thought. Hold that. This is, so the way you'll know by looking at them is that they have a wooden bridge on them. So you can see this one is Pank. It's got the wooden bridge on it. We'll plug this one in and play it. People have asked, like, what's the difference in sound? Well, you know, I think the new ones are better, but it kind of doesn't really matter that much because they've changed over. And these are sort of the last of a dying breed here. It is a cool bow. This is a Glasser Textilium bow. These things come in a bunch of colors. If you want to match your violin to your bow, this can be done. And all the hardcore classical people are like, what? Match your violin to your bow? Well, you do it. They're both made out of wood. So, yeah, let's look at some of the color options. Ooh, look how pretty. So, yeah, those are the AEX violins. I think white, silver, pink, green, red, purple, blue. There's a gunmetal, gray, and black. I think those are all the colors. And they're hot. They're good-looking violins. Really, really like these. Super amazingly good violins, especially for the price. You're really not going to find... Do they make a viola bow? I'm sure they do. Yeah, so Ernesto's a bit of a tone freak, and the fact that he really likes that you can just plug it in, no EQ, no pedal, sounds really good. And that's the nice thing about it is you can EQ it on the chin rest a little bit. In fact, Evan, I know for sure they do. They do make viola bows. So yes, yeah, they just sound good, and they're super easy. They've got a really fat, rich sound. Just acoustically. I guess, yeah, let's do this. Somebody was asking. So I'm going to go to the newer model because that's what's available anyway. And let's not plug it in. Let's leave that amplifier. Let's leave that cable right there on the floor. Why would you not plug one in? You can, you should. If you can plug it in, you should, but okay, whatever. So this is just, you're just hearing this in the room now. So disappointing. No low C on that one. Yeah, you bet. So they're not super loud as far as acoustic instruments go. I feel like if I'm in my practice room and I'm playing if I'm playing my wooden violin, it's really easy to talk when you're not looking at a camera. If I'm just playing my wooden violin, it's pretty loud. This instrument I feel like is maybe not half as loud, maybe 3/4. Let's go with that. Roughly 3/4 as loud as my acoustic, which is nice. Sort of takes the edge off if I'm practicing at home. And there are other people in my family who may not want to listen to all that scratching around in there. But it's loud enough that you could perform with it in a fairly chill environment. Ooh, we have a special guest, and look what she's holding, y'all. Aw, so sweet. Shauna's here.
What's up?
Step forward a little bit so Instagram
What's
people
up,
can see you
everybody?
too. Yeah.
This is also for sale. This is the Glasser 4-string cello.
I didn't say anything because I thought you'd be mad if we sold it out from under you.
No, because we can get more.
Oh, okay. They'll make more.
We can get more. Yes, this thing is beautiful. I used it on for a performance outside the other day.
Oh, yeah. How'd it go?
It was great because I didn't have to turn it up too much, but the electronics make it sound so good. And it's got that double. How do you call this? Like you have this and then
bass and treble.
Warm. Oh yeah. Oh, I thought it was warm, like a sweep for warm and bright. Okay.
Bass and treble.
Bass and treble, like that. See, bass and treble right there. Anyway, excuse me. Hi everybody. Okay, bye everybody. I just like to do this every week. I just like to totally jump in on whatever Matt is talking about because play more cello. Okay,
it's
bye.
okay. Your turn's coming, Shauna.
Yes, it's coming.
She's got a live stream coming up. She doesn't know about this yet, but she's got a live stream coming up soon where she's going to be working with the Roland and Boss people.
Oh.
And going to do some live looping with them, and I'm going to have to stick my head in on that. How do you like that? We have no fun here at work. So yeah, that's the AEX. Okay, good question. How hard is it to get used to a 5-string? Yeah, they're a little bit wider, but not, there are a set of standard dimensions for 4-string violins. And they've been, for the last couple hundred years, it's more or less been the same thing. 4-string violins have roughly, each one's a little different because they're all handmade, right? But the dimensions are fairly tight. There is no standard dimension for 5-string. Like we could just keep the same string spacing and add another string, right? So the neck would be 25% wider. That could be done. You could do that. What people typically do is to go a little narrower on the string spacing in the neck, but they're really not bad. And like I said, these necks feel amazing. Andrew Glasser does not play, but he surrounds himself with people who do. He has worked with Chuck Bontrager from Hamilton. He's worked with Alex DePew from the Steve Vai Band. He's worked with me. I think maybe even Rachel Barton Pine may have taken a look at these things. Andrew's around a lot of really, really talented people and me. And so he asks questions. And when players tell him, hey, this feels good, he puts that in there. If they tell him, hey, not so good, he'll fix it. Okay, it's not like there's no ego involved. Like, I invented this, and if you say you don't like it, it's like you called my kid ugly. He just wants to get it right, and so they feel really, really good. These necks feel amazing. Everybody who I have handed one of these to, they immediately talk about how good the neck feels. And they sound great. And you tell them what the price is, they go, "You're kidding, right? $700? Like, why wouldn't you have one of these?" That's a great question. I have 3 of them. So that's why you wouldn't have one. Why would you have one when you could have 3? So, okay, that's the AEX. Let's talk about the next level up, the AE. AE stands for acoustic-electric, I think. That's what it stands for in my head. So these, you can tell the look on these is a little different, right? So these are not so brightly colored. And you can see the carbon fiber weave on these. Show the Instagram folks. It's going to be the same electronics. It's just a little bit different body. So it's going to be a higher grade carbon fiber. It doesn't have that extra layer of paint on it. And to me, it just sort of opens up the sound a little bit. Prices are not a whole lot more. You're looking at $960 and $1050. So, you know, $200 or $300 more for this. They are, let me grab the shoulder rest because I'm kind of helpless without this. And we'll go backwards on this. We'll actually play this unplugged first, and then I'll plug it in for you. Again, here's the same thing going on. $960 and $1050 are the prices. This is a new proprietary carbon fiber for 2020. The pre-2020 used a tighter mesh. You can see this is a much tighter carbon fiber weave on this for the Instagram folks. A much tighter carbon fiber weave. Hold them up next to each other. You can see those two weaves. Here's the new one and the old one. The new one and the old one. And these are both orange. Like your first thought was like an orange violin? Really, bro? And if you hadn't noticed what color my hair is, I don't generally do orange. I don't do orange, right? But these are really, really beautiful. And the colors are much more subtle. If we go back and look here. So there's like black, gray, green, blue, orange, purple. I'm trying to remember what all the colors are there. But yeah, anyway, I'm still answering your 5-string question. I'm sorry. So yeah, everybody who I've talked to, the necks on these feel really good. And the 5-string, they absolutely nailed the spacing and the angles. These are really, really nice 5-strings. I've actually recorded with mine, not plugged in, and just done viola tracks with it. I have an actual viola now. I didn't for a while. And when I needed to record viola, I just threw a mic on this and I just wouldn't play my E string. They're so thick and rich and bottom endy sounding. They're really nice sounding instruments. One of the things that I like, back on this 5-string thing, I don't know if I'll do a little bit of self-promotion here. I rewrote one of the Bach partitas. You know, the old, that's in 3. I rewrote it in 4. So one of the things I like to do to check string spacing and make sure, because sometimes people with these 5s, they get a little tight. Can you play Bach on it is the question. That passage right there will let you know right away whether the string spacing is too tight. I've got pretty decent sized hands. So it's not like I'm trying to, it's not like I'm playing a trick here with teeny tiny fingers. I got big fat fingers, and my left wrist, I used to be a fighter, and I was a wrestler and all that. My left wrist has been munched. So I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that my left wrist, when I'm playing, it's not this beautiful classical curvature that you're used to seeing. It tends to be a little more collapsed than it probably should be, and it's because the wrist it doesn't bend right. That wrist got munched many years ago. So my left hand technique is not, I don't have the this perfectly standing up wrist and fingers, so it's a little more squished. which actually does inhibit some of my classical playing. All that to say that if I can play Bach on a 5-string neck, it's the string spacing is pretty generous. So they're not too tight, but then they're not too big either. You know, there's people, little tiny people are playing these things and they don't have any problem with it. So yeah, they're good. Let me plug it in real quick. There we go. Now we're plugged in. Let's go. Let's make the microphone go away and just listen to this thing plugged in. Can you hear me? I'm going away. I'm going away. I'm going away. Coming back to you now. All right. Hope you can hear me. I can see that you can. There's my meters are working right. Yeah, relax. Well, I do try to keep a lot of light pressure with my left hand, and that's from years and years of rock playing on frets. When you play on frets, you got to play light. Difference between these and the AEX. So yeah, we've been talking about that. This is going to have a better body on it. So it's got, it's a nicer brand of, or a nicer cut of carbon fiber on here. So it's just going to make the body open up a little bit. If you just came in, Ed, you might want to go back and watch the early part of this, because that's when we were talking about the AEXs. I just switched over to the AE just a few minutes ago. So when we're done, you'll be able to go back and watch the front part of this, and you'll be able to see the discussion on the AEX. So yeah, it's just a little bit nicer body on these, and everybody will say, well, on the, if you're using the same pickup, it's the same pickup. Nope, it's not. It's just a piezo, but it's a piezo with an active system in it. So people say, well, if it's the pickup, then the body doesn't matter. Well, that's not true. The body does matter. It's not like a night and day difference. Like when you pick one up and go, oh my goodness, what a huge difference from one to the next. No, it's not. I think it's a relatively subtle difference between one and the other. I think it's definitely worth $200 more to get the nicer body. But if you don't have them $200, then it doesn't matter. And if you like the look of the other one, you really want that white or that super bright green, they still sound great. Like I said, Brian King Joseph plays his AEX on huge stages. I mean, Brian doesn't play any small stages. So he played his on some of the America's Got Talent stuff, like millions of people. Yeah, and that's one of the things about piezos. You've got this group of people out there who just know in their hearts that piezos sound bad. And they're just, I don't have any other word for it, but that they're wrong. They don't sound bad. They sound amazing. Lighter weight than the AEX? I don't know. I'm a 200-pound dude. I don't ask what violins weigh. I mean, my bass player would just slug me if he heard me wondering what a violin weighed. No, I don't know. I don't think the weight's much different. I guess if you put them on a scale, there might be a couple grams. I don't know. Like I said, if I can pick it up, I'll play it. That's fine. Just do an extra push-up or something. What kind of strings are used at our shop? Many kinds. What are on these are Larson originals. So, you know, each instrument maker, we don't make the instruments, Guillermo. We buy them from the manufacturers, and then we retail them here. So what makes us different is, like, if you call the manufacturer, if you call Andrew, he only has one kind of instrument to sell you, and that's a Glasser. If you call Yamaha, they only have one kind of instrument. It's a Yamaha, right? So if you come here, you could try all of the different kinds. It would be like going to a car dealership that didn't sell just Fords. They sold every kind of car. So you can come in and you can try a 3D Various. You can try a wood violins. You can try a bridge. You can try a Glasser. And so, yeah, so we carry the strings that all of our manufacturers use on their instruments, because if one breaks, say when I'm tuning one and I break a string, we have to be able to change that string. But really, really impressed with Glasser. He's done a great job of partnering with Larson Strings and making sure that top quality professional level strings are going out on instruments that cost less than $1,000, which is super amazing. Really, really nice. So yeah, let's do the same thing with this violin that we did with the other. We're going to come down here to treble. Now let's go the other way with that. Okay, we'll center that again. And the nice thing about these is they have a detent in them. You know what a detent is? Like when I'm turning it and like I feel a little click, tells me I'm in the center. That means I'm neither boosting nor cutting. So that was treble. Here's bass. And back to center again. Yeah, nice sounding instruments, nice playing instruments. They're just fun. One of the things I'll say for you right now, guys listening, I cannot really hear the amp. I've got the amp turned down fairly low for me in the room, so it's not overwhelming the microphone. But I'm sure you guys can hear it in the feed that's coming to you. Yes. I'm sorry, I missed that question. The planetary pegs are standard on all Glasser instruments. I don't know why you would buy a violin that doesn't have planetary pegs on it. The technology it's just a better technology. My late 1800s acoustic violin has the planetary pegs put on it. It was one of the better decisions I ever made. They feel great. I'm never going back. It's not $1 million violin. You know, I wouldn't advise anybody with a Strad to put them on there just because you're going to wreck the value of the instrument. But it's a better technology. You know, it's like sticking with AM radio when you could have satellite. I just don't know why you wouldn't do it. So, yes, that is what is going on with Glasser violins. So let's see what else we got here. Yeah, prices there. And then here's just the Matt cam. What's up, Matt? And yeah, so all the Instagram people, what's up, everybody? Yeah, just having a good time hanging out with you guys. Are there any more questions about these instruments before we sort of call it a day and get out of here? That's right, no pencils for pegs anymore. Yeah, David Allen Sanders, you got one of the 4 strings. I love these violins. I really do. If you're a gigging musician, it's just a great idea to own one of these. For the price, my goodness, to have it, you know, even if you're just, this is what Ross Holmes uses his for. Ross is a bit of a violin snob, and he has earned every bit of that. Ross is an insanely good player. Played with Mumford & Sons. He's played with Bruce Hornsby. He's playing with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band right now. He is, Ross is like, Ross is the OG, man. He's really good. He has some really, really amazing instruments. And he owns a Glasser instrument that he takes out with him as, you know, because, whoa, all right. Because he wants to have a backup instrument. Suppose he's out on the road and Nitty Gritty's playing this show, and it's, you know what, it's a little cold and it's a little rainy and it's kind of nasty out, and he doesn't want to bring a $15,000 or $20,000 violin out in that environment. You can bring a carbon fiber violin out in that environment. This violin doesn't care if it's raining. I mean, I'm not going to go swimming with this violin. But if it gets a little bit of rain on it, if it's a little bit humid outside, maybe it's really hot. I played mine at a pool party. It was probably 98 degrees where I was standing. And the violin, because mine's black, it was hot. When I touched it, it was hot. And it just played, man. It didn't care. Do we have the new 2020 Blue AE? Probably. Yeah, probably. You can check our website. Have I played in the rain? Yeah, I have. I'm not happy about it. I don't really play a lot of acoustic electric gigs, like 3 a year maybe. When I was gigging a lot, I was touring with a band here in North Carolina. I left those guys about a year ago. But when I toured with those guys, I was doing about 150 dates a year with them, and like 148 of those were fully electric gigs. But occasionally we would do an acoustic electric thing. And, you know, if you pick up a wedding or something like that, it's nice to have an acoustic electric instrument. I just don't know why you wouldn't have one. Oh, yeah. So here's for Ernesto. This is the new one. You can see the carbon fiber weave on these. They are so beautiful. These instruments are so stunning. Again, this is the orange finish. So to me, it's more like a wood color. So for the Instagram people, this is what the weave on these look like. Oh, yeah, good question. So probably my only gripe about this violin is the wireless situation. Because we've got active electronics in the chin rest here, it's a relatively common thing with active violins for them. I'm going to set this down. For them to not work and play well with the G10. So if you're using a Line 6 G10, which is this guy here, it's really handy because you just stick it in there and it's easy. You can't really use it with the Glasser violin, and that's sort of bad news. But the reason you can't use it with the Glasser violin is that you get this interference. It's the same thing that happens when you use one with the Yamaha active violins. They work great with the YEVs, but like the SV200, if you try to use it with the SV200, which is hilarious because Yamaha owns Line 6. But there's an electrical interference issue. Somehow there's a shielding thing that's not happening. And it happens with Yamahas. It happens with the Glassers. It happens with some of the Cantinis. Some Cantinis work just fine. Some give you that squee. I'm trying to think who else. think that's more or less it. Yeah, so the bummer. Hey, Mauricio, what's going on? Mr. Aurora himself. Got some Aurora violins hanging in here today, too. We just got a shipment of Aurora violins from Brazil, and we'll be talking about those soon. Man, I really like those violins. You don't need the pickup. I don't even know what that means. Okay, I'll get to it in just a second. Yeah, so the wireless question, basically what you're going to use, you're going to have to use a wireless that has an external pack that gets the battery pack away from the active part of the chin rest. So, yeah, so instead of G10, we like the G30 or the G50. I tour with a G50. We like the G30, and the reason is the G50 has a proprietary plug. It goes 1/4 inch into the instrument, and it comes out to like a little microdot 3-pin thing that has to go into the transmitter. I stinking hate those. God, I hate when companies do those proprietary cables. I bought 3 of them. I bought 3 of the cables just because I can't risk having one go down. The G30 I like a little better because it can use just a standard 1/4 inch cable. So if you get a 3-foot cable to go from the violin to the transmitter can go on your belt. If you're a woman and you're not wearing pants, there are another of options. I think D Sharp actually uses, and Brian King Joseph also, they might mount their wireless transmitter underneath the instrument. And I think that gives them enough distance between the active electronics and the pack that they don't have problems with it. But you can just go to a belt pack. Means an environmentally stable fiddle to live in a van. Don't need a pickup. So yeah, you can actually buy these instruments. You can buy them without the electronics in them. We don't sell those because if you can't plug it in, we don't sell it. But if you wanted to get one that does not have a pickup in it, you can contact Glasser Violins directly and just get one from them. Honestly, though, you don't save that much money by going to, they do make 100% acoustic, but you really don't save that much money by going to the 100% acoustic. If it were me, I would get the one that has a pickup in it, and then at least you just always have the option to plug in if you need to play a show somewhere where you can plug in. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to not plug it in. It plays just fine acoustically, but yeah, if you just want the acoustic, you don't care, you want an Amish violin, one that doesn't need electricity. Yes, you can contact Glasser Violins and just get a pure acoustic from them. Yeah, so I'm trying to read back up here. Yeah, sometimes, yep, you can use patch cord and Velcro. Yep. So with the G10, and it's the same with the Boss WL20s. When you've got the little bud transmitter, there's something about the shielding on that they, you just gotta, if you're using a little bud transmitter, you're gonna have to get it away from the chin rest somehow. So yeah, that's everything going on there. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Yeah, this has been really awesome. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to bug out. We've been here almost an hour. Instagram folks, thank you guys for hanging out. Sorry, I wouldn't like flipping through and checking to see what any of the comments were. Sorry. Well, it was stuck at the top. And oh my goodness, tons of comments on here. Holy crap. Lots of comments and I missed them all. Sorry guys. So do they come with a case? They do not. I mean, at that price, my goodness, you're lucky to get the violin at that price. So yeah, you can buy cases for them. We have some pretty nice cases on our website. You can get, there's like a $69 sort of a budget Toshira case. But for the price that these things are, you could actually afford to buy a little bit nicer case. We've got some Babolat cases that are pretty sweet, and you could even match the color to your violin. What? Matching? It's crazy talk. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out, and we're going to sign off. All right. You guys have a sweet week. I know there are some states that are starting to open up venues a little bit. North Carolina, we're hoping, is going to make an announcement today that maybe by this weekend there's going to be some live music somewhere in this state. What? So hopefully those of you that are gigging pros, you're very soon going to be back to making a little money playing music. Just, man, stay safe. You guys stay safe out there. I've got a bunch of friends that have had this COVID thing, and it's no joke. So, yeah, you guys stay safe. Practice lots of violin. Crank that thing up. Crank up the bass. And we'll see you next week. All right. Take care, everybody.